Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and this is the Storyteller Forecast for Gemini for September 2018. Go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com. Check out what's new in my blog. If you've been wanting to learn astrology, I will love to help you with my astrology apprenticeship program. And if you have been wanting to have a live reading with me, but I've been on sabbatical for a long time, not taking on new clients, then you'll be happy to know that I am opening up, I don't know for how long, to take on new clients for live personal readings. So if you want my insights, personal insights for your personal chart, then definitely go to anniehelpsyou.com and click on work with me and see more there. So what's going on in the month of September? We have Mars finally direct, waking things up. Gemini energy loves movement, loves mobility, loves activity. So sometimes a Mars retrograde can get a little rough because it stops movement. It's sort of a lazy time. And it can be great if you can accept and embrace that, which is what I've been talking about over the previous several months. But I know that in general, Gemini energy is ready to move. So you will be happy to know that things will start moving again now. We also have Mercury direct, and the shadow period has passed as of the beginning of September, so we're clear from that. As of September 4th, we have Venus shadow period, which is the pre-transit shadow to the retrograde that starts October 5th. So from September 4th through October 5th, we're getting deeper into Venus retrograde energies. If you've been watching my reports for a while, then you will know I've been talking about this very lengthy retrograde cycle at play. I've been talking about this for months, even since the end of last year, because it's very notable. You know, it's more of a time of going inward and backward, working on things in the backdrop. There are launches and new things that can occur, but for the most part, it favors the continuation of things already worked on and doing more of what you've been doing or working on things in the backdrop to be launched at a later time. However, if there's something that you have to bring out, that you're chomping at the bit, you're certain it's ready to come out, and you can't wait until December when all this is clear, then especially that first week of September has amazing energy that is free, pretty much free from Mercury retrograde, pretty much free from Venus retrograde shadow, pretty much free, well, it's still going to be kind of deep in the Mars retrograde shadow, but you'll start to feel things waking up. And there are so many beautiful aspects that first week of September. So if you've got to do important things, that looks amazing for pretty much anything. So we have all that going on. We still have eclipse news coming in, especially around September 11th, sometimes 1 month after the eclipse. There's new information, or the first eclipse piece of news can come in as late as then. Or like a progression, you know, a storyline that's continuing, more important events can happen at that point. So we have all of that going on. Now, besides all that, we also have 10 amazing aspects this month in the general transit report that follows my Gemini specific focus. I'll go into all of those and all the dates for those, but for the Gemini report, we're going to focus on a couple of those, and they're big ones. They're outer planet aspects. When we have an outer planet aspect, it's usually longer in duration as far as the effects than the other shorter term aspects that tend to be with these, you know, faster moving planets. So that's one thing. Second thing is they go deeper and they're working on these themes kind of over a longer period of time. So I'm calling the theme of the month for Gemini treasure chest of sex, intimacy, and resources. And that's because through one way or another, it's different for you early, middle, and late degree placements as to exactly what is happening that's making this energy be pronounced, but it's pronounced for all of you, and that's the common ground that I wanted to talk about since that's the same for all placements. So anything having to do with going deep into the psyche, whether that's psychology, astrology, numerology, metaphysical, esoteric studies, blessings there, these aspects or mysteries or sex or intimacy or power or money, especially shared money, inheritances, sweepstakes, winning money, spousal money, family money, money you borrow, money you loan, capital, getting funding for something. All of these aspects are amazingly pushed into the forward, or what do you call it, the front of experience for Geminis at this point. And that's, like I said, from different things, but some of you will have that beautiful Saturn and Uranus aspect that's doing this for you. And some of you also, like you early degree placements, have that going on. You early degree placements have Pluto and Jupiter doing this for you. The middle degree placements have Pluto and Jupiter. Middle and late, you have Pluto and Jupiter there, as well as Mars. And at bare minimum for all of you, this energy of relationships, something having to do with relationships, serving, something that you're doing, like you combining with somebody else. Also, this energy of Uranus, which is volatility, you know, and innovation and surprise, is blending in this beautiful grounded way with Saturn, the builder of foundations. You know, I always think of Saturn as the energy that works under the ground. The taller you have to make a building, the stronger and bit deeper you have to make the foundation in order to hold that building up. So Saturn works on these, the foundation under the ground. It's like setting you up for long-term success. So it's very rare that the planet that rules long-term and stodgy, slow progress, foundation building, gets into a beautiful aspect with the complete opposite energy, which is volatility, change, instability, uncertainty, and it's all locking together in this amazing configuration. So for you early degree placements, so again, if you're not sure if you're early degree, you're the first 10 or so days of the sign. Okay, so the first third of the Gemini placements, you know, so all the May born and then the early part of June are going to be in that grouping. Or if you're watching for your rising sign or moon sign, 0 to around 9 degrees. So you early guys, you're going to have this energy also accentuated in the 12th house, which can be hidden help. This can be, again, this is like a metaphysical, deep psychological house. There's a lot of energy of things working behind the scenes, things working in a lesser seen realm. And sometimes behind the scenes means like it's not out in the public, or it's hidden even to you. But sometimes it means like it's in the ethereal reality, things that we can't really, are harder to see tangibly. So very strong, you know, angel support, support from people who have crossed over, dream time support, guides and, you know, teachers that are not in form or that you work with in your dream time. I know I have a lot of people who I work with and who I've worked with say that I show up in their dream time and I'm teaching them in their dreams. And I'm very busy in the night, you know, so something like that could even manifest this way. So something happening in that space. The middle and later degree placements, so that's the rest of you, so pretty much most of the June born Geminis, and then like, you know, 10 to 29 degrees. If you're watching for your rising or your moon, you're going to have this extra boost taking this relationship energy and then also bringing it out into this internet, you know, well, hold on, let me just tell you, before I list all these things of this house, I have to point out that even though I'm listing these things for the middle and late degree placements, you early degree placements could have some of this too, because what I'm about to describe is true to the 11th house, where this aspect will be happening for the middle and late degree placements. But since the planet involved, which is Uranus, rules the 11th house, that could bring up the things that I'm about to list for the early degree placements too, by nature of the planet being there. Okay, so this is just double extra Uranus energy for middle and late degree placements. So it's like technology. Okay, so again, all of you are going to listen now, even though the actual aspect is occurring in that space for middle and late. Technology, innovation, groups, teams, large organizations, humanitarian efforts, community projects, anything having to do with social media, friendships, acquaintances, in-person social circles, online social circles or groups, anything having to do with those things can be very well accentuated. So basically, somebody can help you in projects that are related to that, or you can help somebody else, or you can start doing business, doing things like that. Or you can take the things that you're doing and bring them to a bigger community or global level. So let's see what else. We've got the full moon at 2 degrees of Aries, and so that's September 24th. So it brings fullness, completion, fruition to all things Aries, which we'll talk about all things Aries, what that means in the general transit. But for your placements, let's see, the early degree, you're going to have that in the 11th house, and then middle, some of you, most of you will have that in the 11th house, and then late degree, you'll have that in the 10th house. Okay, so for the first 2/3 of the sign, another chunk of fruition, completion, possibly drama, recognition in this house of groups and technology and all these things that I listed already. So this is just like more of that. If you are a person who has an early degree placement of Gemini, if you're in the first, say, 7 days of the sign, so pretty much May-born Geminis, or if you're watching from like 0 to 7 degrees for your rising or moon, you will have an extra boost with this full moon of positivity because it's going to make a sextile, which is a favorable aspect to your Gemini placement. So that's just an extra boost for you. Okay, so the late degree placements will be having that full moon, so completion, fruition, manifestation, drama, something coming to light in work and career. So a work drama, a work accomplishment, recognition, or it could be your dad needs something going on with dad, an argument, or he may need help, or a health event, or that he's accomplished something in his life and you're celebrating with him. Authority figures, bosses, something like that. Anything in those arenas. So let's see, one more point I wanted to talk about was the new moon, and that's on September 9th. September 9th, we've got 17 degrees of Virgo, so early degree placements, you're going to have that in the 4th house. Most of you middle degree placements are going to have that in the 4th house, but the later middle degree and late degree placements will have that in the 3rd house. Okay, so what does that mean? Early and most middle, new openings, new opportunities, something, a new phase opening with home and family. Could be a new home, could be a new chapter in your home, it could be a new family addition, it could be a piece of real estate, having something notable happen with it. It could be a home-based project, either, for something that you're doing at home or work, if you work from home or trying to work from home, something like that. If you have a business or do anything involving like real estate or construction or home design or anything like that, that can be accentuated as well. Or it could be something having to do with mother or another family member. The later middle and then late degree placements, you'll have this new moon, this open opportunity, this new phase, this new cycle, seeds being planted in the 3rd house. So this has to do with your communication, how you communicate with others, including devices. This has to do with transportation, so bikes, planes, for those of you who have planes, vehicles, or your physical mobility can also be involved here. This can also have to do with siblings or cousins or aunts or uncles or something like that. How you communicate with others, a communication issue, or communication projects like editing, writing, blogs, things like that. So these are the things that are most on my mind for Gemini. Now I want to talk at length about the rest of these sweet aspects, the dates you can look out for them, the things you might expect from them, also the challenging dates, including one red flag date that you really need to look out for to keep yourself safe and aware. So we're going to go into more Venus retrograde stuff and all that stuff now. So the theme of the month for all signs for September 2018 is major movement and momentum. We've been waiting for a long time for Mars to wake up from its slumber from retrograde. Most people will have been affected from the Mars retrograde as feeling lazy, unambitious, trying to do things that aren't working out, getting super frustrated. And so for those people, things are going to change now. And either it's going to be like a light switches on and your energy levels, your enthusiasm, your ambitions just wake up, or it will be like a slow tingling awakening of coming back to life of your ambitions, your goals, and your motivations to reach goals, and to do anything really. For the percentage of you, the smaller percentage of you who experienced Mars retrograde with the opposite, in many cases, people who have Mars retrograde at birth will experience the opposite. So for them, Mars retrograde is their most productive time. So every 2 years, they have a cycle of, 4 or so months where they wake up, they get all this stuff done. So for y'all, you're going to be going back to sleep, but maybe you will have learned some lessons about how to best use your energy and bring some of that productivity into your daily experience afterwards, after the transit. So we have Mercury retrograde pretty much clear now at the beginning of the month. We have Mars just starting to wake up, taking until October 10th to regain full strength. And we have Venus getting ready to go into retrograde. So that's not going to happen until October 5th. But the shadow period starts September 4th. And the shadow period is just as important to note as the retrograde. Occasionally I'll have someone ask, why are you talking about this when it's not happening yet? And my very simple, very powerful, very accurate answer is, it is actually happening. And that's why I have to talk about it. Not everybody wants to deal with this. Most people don't want to mention and just wait until it's actually retrograde. But you are going to be having these things come up that are true to the transit well before the transit occurs. And that's one of my overriding messages I hope that you see from the work that I'm doing, is to let you be aware that things are not happening just when they, quote, happen. There's an orb of energy before and after aspects where we're feeling them. It's kind of like when you're driving out west from the east. I do this trip across the country back and forth very often. And I always notice, right, when the eastern kind of trees and density of population start to dissipate, you start to see some, desert plants come in, and you start to see more of a sparsity of trees and a change in the kind of trees. And then you might see some mountains in the distance, and you feel the dry air. And so the desert has come to you, but you're still kind of in the space where it's not quite there yet. But you feel it, and it's happening, and it's relevant, and you're having manifestations from it, but you're not quite in the desert yet. Okay, that's how this shadow period is. It starts to smell like this, the stories that are going to come up, the typical feelings, emotions, topics start coming in. And what are those topics? They have to do with love, beauty, and money. So everybody wants to know about Venus retrograde, because these are the big things that people talk about. I have done a very comprehensive job on trying to prepare you for Venus retrogrades. I have a video called Venus Retrograde Do's and Don'ts. I highly recommend that you watch this video, because I am not going to do Venus retrograde justice in this video, or even in the months that in October and November when Venus is actually retrograde. We'll be talking about this between now and December. But there's nothing that I have, and nothing that I know of available, even on the internet, that is as comprehensive as this video that I've made for you about Venus retrograde. So you definitely want to search for Annie Venus retrograde. I go into so much detail, and you will be very educated about this transit and understand how to best use it. Okay, but in any case, the basic things that go on are, you are not seeing clearly in love, beauty, and money. Not the best time for doing any augmentation to your body, tattoos, implants, adjustments, procedures. Venus retrograde energy is not the best for that. Making big decisions in love, you're not seeing clearly. It's best to evaluate things and work in the backdrop. Money decisions, not the best time to make big money decisions in general. And things from the past that are issues will likely come back up, for better and worse. But blessings from the past can also come back. So like, let's say you're a person who teaches a certain class, and you have to, it's the time to cycle to enroll for this class again. That's okay, because it's a class you've been teaching. And in that case, people from the past may come and you might have a very prosperous showing in your class. But this is something you've been doing. It's not brand new. It's not a new launch. It's kind of just leaning towards the past involving money. Okay, so those things tend to do really well. Going back to old clients, previous business ideas, working on them more, anything that's worked for you in the past, doing those things again versus new things are going to be the tagline of September through half of December. Anything involving love, you may have love that comes back from the past. Okay, so yes, issues can come up and will come up from the past. If you have something unresolved in your love life, it's very likely that Venus is going to bring that up in a big way. But you can also have beautiful things from the past. Like, let's say you've been with your partner a long time and you had traditions and things that you did that were awesome and you loved them and you missed them. Venus retrograde can bring them back into your life. It can bring the spark back into your love. For people who are separated from their love, if for any reason, maybe it's a military situation where somebody's abroad working, or any other international work, or even local work. If you have a partner who travels for work or who has been away, Venus retrograde can bring them back and you can see them, So it's very beautiful, and there are many, many wonderful things that can come in. It's just important to remember, not the best time for launches, doing new things, making big moves, making big decisions, if you can help it, because you're not seeing clearly and you don't have the gusto of Venus going direct. It's leaning towards the past. Okay, now it can also bring love back into your life from the past. So somebody that you dated in the past, or a love interest, or someone who you were interested in the past could come back in. And in those cases, it's open for evaluation. Just try to not make any big decisions from what you're evaluating. Okay, so besides Venus retrograde and talking about all this retrograde stuff, we've got a massive amount of this beautiful energy of positive aspects, especially with outer planets. And I've gone into detail about those in the individual reports. But I want to just re-mention this, that for the first half of September, we are locked in this trine with Saturn and Capricorn and Uranus and Taurus. This can bring major manifestation, major things coming from the ethers into form and grounding and material support in wonderful ways. We also have a beautiful aspect with Jupiter and Pluto. This is a sextile between Pluto and Jupiter, and it's occurring in, for an extended period of time again, from like the 7th through the 13th, we can feel this really strongly. So beautiful blessings, especially near 18 degrees. That Earth trine, any Earth or water placements that you have near 2 degrees will be further enhanced. For the Jupiter-Pluto aspect, water and Earth aspects or planets that you have near 18 degrees will be further enhanced. And I usually go 5 degrees in any direction. So, 13 degrees through 23 degrees for that Jupiter-Pluto aspect, and then like 0 to 7 degrees for the Earth aspect. So if you have Earth or water placements in any of those configurations, then this could be an amazing time for you. And even if you don't, you're the ones that just get the extra blessing. Everybody has the chance to benefit from these beautiful aspects. So it's super exciting. Overall, this month, we've got about 10 awesome, amazing, harmonious expressions. The dates that those occur, so let's see, I'm going to start to give you some dates here, but I want to give you a couple of caveats. One thing to know is that we can sometimes and very often feel the manifestations of a planetary configuration before or after. So I'll give you the dates, but you can feel them before or after, okay? That's the first thing to know. The second thing to know is that if you want a detailed play-by-play of what aspect is occurring on what day and what you can expect from it, then sign up for my free email newsletter at anniehelpsyou.com. At anniehelpsyou.com, you can get this free newsletter. I do a write-up that does a summary of the month, what you can expect, important details, and lots of additional details that I can't get into in the videos where we talk about what is happening on what day and what you can expect. Okay, but I am going to hit some of the highlights here. So these are the days to look out for sweet vibes, okay? But remember, you can feel them before or after these days. So the 3rd, the 6th, the 7th, the 9th, the 11th, the 12th, the 15th, the 16th, the 20th, the 23rd, and the 24th, and the 27th. Look out for stress, challenges, and overstimulation in the days around September 7th, 8th, 12th, 13th, 18th, 20th, 23rd, and 24th. So now I'm going to just hit a couple of the highlights here. I'm not going to go into all of them. You have to see the written report for that. But we've got some sweetness at the beginning of the month with a beautiful aspect with Venus and Mercury. I love this for all things. September 3rd is an amazing day for pretty much anything, okay? And this is because the Mercury shadow period, post-shadow period has passed. Mars has been direct for a little bit, is regaining steam, and Venus shadow period has not begun yet. So September 3rd, if you've got to do something important, I love September 3rd for this. I also love the days around it because they're mostly amazing aspects. But there is one aspect within that first week, actually 2 aspects, like in the first 7-8 days on September 7th and 8th to look out for. But those days up, really the first week is just amazing for anything. So if you have to do anything important in love and beauty and money, like if you want to do your, any kind of physical things, aesthetics to your house, design projects, not on your body, but in your home, in your office, art projects, things bringing anything artistic out, anything really. This first week of September is the week that has the best open energy, free from the retrogrades, that we've had for a long time and that we're going to have for a long time. You're not going to get a freedom from the retrograde energies like this week until mid-December. Okay, so if you've got to do something important, if you have a launch that can't wait until December, you've got to bring something out, do it in this first week. This is amazing energy. Okay, we've got Mercury and Venus in a beautiful aspect. Saturn going direct can bring manifestations out into the world. We've got this trine with Saturn and Uranus. The Earth trine that's been in effect since the middle of August will still be in effect through the middle of September. It's in this exact configuration for a month. And then on September 7th, Mercury comes in and makes that trine with Uranus and Saturn a grand Earth trine. So everyone has the potential to be blessed from these transits and do stuff with them, but especially people with anywhere from 0 to 7 degrees of earth or water placements in your chart. Placements in your chart can go well beyond your sun sign, you know, so here, those of you who'd have some working knowledge of your chart, this is going to benefit you to know this, okay? If you've got anything near 2 degrees in earth and water, this is going to energize whatever placements you have there and be even bigger and bring things to you in a bigger way. As I talk about bringing things to you in a bigger way, do note, I get this question very often. It goes something like this: Annie, and sometimes it's nicely worded and sometimes it's not nicely worded. And gosh, I wish they would all be nicely worded. But in any case, different versions of this. I'm not having the benefits that you or other astrologers are talking about as potentials from the stars, okay? So why? Why are they not having that? The reason is because if you're not a vibrational match for the things that are present as potentials, then you're not going to experience them, period. That is a law of the universe. Astrology can't get around that. Nothing can get around that. If you have a story, a program, a vibration inside of you, doesn't have to be conscious, can be unconscious, can be ancestral, can be genetic, can be whatever. If you have a storyline that's in your energy field that is different from the one that this beautiful aspect wants to create for you, you're not going to have it created for you. And that doesn't mean that the astrologer is wrong, and it doesn't mean that astrology is wrong. It means that you're not a vibrational match for the potentials that are sitting here. It's like I always say, if you have the ingredients to make a juicy peach pie on your counter, and you come out looking for the peach pie, and you're like, where's the peach pie? Someone's going to ask you, did you make the peach pie with the ingredients on the counter, or are they still there as ingredients? So this is your call from the universe to take an active role in your destiny. And if you see that there are inconsistencies with the potentials that are sitting before you, that you feel, that you see, that you hear about, and they're not manifesting, you have to look inside. Some tools I love for working inside: EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. This is a form of meridian clearing that clears your energy field, clears belief systems. You can find things totally free online. You don't have to have any money. You can be in the worst situation in your life and not be able to put any resources into this and still access it, okay? So look up EFT. I love the Presence Process by Michael Brown, one of my favorite tools. I love the Marriage of Spirit, the exercises in Section 2 by Leslie Temple Thurston. These things are just like blockbuster self-development tools that can help you to be a vibrational match for the things that you want and these beautiful potentials that we're sitting here in front of. Okay, so now that I've said my piece about that, so once we get out of this first 7 days, and even at the end of the 7 days, we've got the Sun opposing Neptune, okay? This is our first aspect that's a little bit, iffy. It brings this question of confusion, unclarity, miscommunication, deception, security breaches. So if you're feeling insecure or weird, regardless of all these potentials around, you have to honor that. We never know when we're going to have a pocket of a manifestation from a challenging aspect, even dancing in between all these beautiful aspects. Okay, so, feel your way through it. On September 8th, we've got a clash with Venus and Mars. That's going to bring some challenges and stress. On September 9th, we've got this beautiful new moon with 2 beautiful outer planet aspects that are positive affecting it. But we also have Neptune giving this same kind of message: guard your personal data and possessions. If things are seem too good to be true, they may be. Anything that you're not certain about or you're confused about, you need to take more time around. But in general, this new moon at 17 degrees of Virgo is awesome. We've got beautiful positive boosts by Pluto and Jupiter, and it's time to make your new moon wishes on anything involving Virgo. So health, diet, healing work, whether you're doing the work or receiving the work or would like to be doing the work, medical tests, exams, or procedures, anything with animals or pets, or workplace issues or goals. September 11th and 12th, we've got another set of amazing aspects: enhanced discernment, positive outcomes from having an analytical eye. So you can see, like, this chance for confusion and uncertainty is present at the same time as these enhanced mental powers are present. So you might feel that at one point on one day, and then someone else might feel it. You know, these are rolling energies. It's kind of like, you know what it's like when you're in the water, right? Let's say you're in the ocean and there's like a pocket of cold water, right? You're like, oh, cold. How did that happen? I just wandered into a pocket of cold water, but your knee, the bottom of your leg, is in this warmer pocket, right? So that's happening, and then you're like, oh, better go over there into the warm pocket, right? So that's what these transits are like. They're happening at the same time. They're influencing. Their chance to manifest is occurring simultaneously. So you need to use your intuition to feel out, like, I'm feeling good today, and I know these aspects are good, and I'm feeling them, so I'm going to do important things. But then if you're like, well, everyone's saying this is really good, but I feel like crap and I don't feel sure, then don't do anything. You know, you've got to wait and follow your personal flow. Astrology is nothing unless it is helping you to enhance your own connection to yourself and to spirit and to the all that is. All right, so then we start getting a little dicey here in the middle of the month. September 12th, 13th, we've got a little rough patch. This can bring surprises in money and love. This can bring unpleasant jolts, or this can just bring overstimulation. Maybe money stuff is going great. It's going to bring up the polarity of me and we. So you versus other people, people close to you, entities that you're working with. But while this is all going on, we do have that beautiful Jupiter-Pluto aspect that can supersede and bring protection and benevolence even through these challenges. All right, so that September 13th, you got to look out again. If you're not sure about things, deception, uncertainty, security breaches can be more likely. Then on the 15th and the 16th, we've got more sweetness. You know, there's like at least 10 beautiful aspects this month, and close to half of that of challenging ones. Okay, so even though there are some things to look out for, there's definitely more awesomeness than there are stress factors. Also, towards like the second week of the month is a big time for that eclipse, for more eclipse news to come in, when we're like a month after the August 11th eclipse, so around September 11th. That sometimes is a time when major eclipse news or continuation of a story that's already started can come up. So Mercury doing awesome things on the 15th and 16th. But at the same time, Mars and Uranus are going to make a bad aspect. Yes, I'm calling it bad. Yes, you can use it for good. Squares can always be encouragers to do something, to break through something. So in that way, it could be good. But Mars and Uranus getting together in a challenging situation, these are one of the aspects that I put a red flag up for, okay? If you've watched me for a while, or maybe you can tell already, I'm super positive. I have a very optimistic viewpoint. The art of astrology, there's a science of astrology, okay? But there's an art of astrology. It's in the eye of the beholder, the reader. So I look at everything like, how are we going to make this awesome? But at the same time, if there's something dicey, I will tell you, okay? And this is one of those things. September 18th, watch out for your body. Watch out for pissing people off. Do not antagonize a crazy person. Do not antagonize anybody. Go easy on exercise. You know, go easy on important conversations. Try to not plan anything important, especially with somebody that pushes your buttons. And if you can avoid people that push your buttons around this time, that would be better. I've seen Mars aspects sometimes show up as soon as 5 days before, you know, and quite a few days after. So remember that about these aspects. You can feel them before or after. And this is occurring at the same time that a lot of sweetness is occurring. So you've got to just, you know, remember what I said about being in the water in the warm and cold patches. You have to, when you're in a really warm, comfy patch, then do some stuff. If it's a little bit dicey, then maybe hold off. And since Venus is going into retrograde and it's getting closer to the shadow period, by this time, your discernment might be off a little bit. It might make more sense to wait before you do something important. September 20th can be great for enhancing mental powers, but it can also bring a lot of criticism. So the 20th, the 21st, and the 23rd, we've got some challenging aspects, 2 of them with Mercury. Okay, so these are energies that can bring up old wounds. These can bring news about a physical malady. It can be something, negativity or criticism could come to you now. It could be anything having to do with like somebody, a force coming in, not being nice, just basically general negativity and criticism. But then on the 23rd, we've got this little boost with Mercury and Mars. So this brings the opportunity for amazing conversations and amazing social contacts, and can bring great mental power. The full moon at 2 degrees of Aries on September 24th is boosted with sweetness by a trine with Jupiter and a sextile with Mars. At the same time, it can have additional intensity from a square with Saturn and then a Chiron conjunction. So whenever Saturn is involved, usually criticism or pressure is involved. Okay, and then whenever Chiron's involved, especially in a challenging aspect, it can bring this victim tyrant mentality or polarity. Okay, so you could feel like somebody is doing something to you, or someone could be accusing you of being a bully or a tyrant, which you may or may not be. But this topic is what's brought up. So fullness, completion, fruition, drama can come to anything in the area of Aries, especially your physical body, especially the head or brain, or anything having to do with your circulation or your neurological system. It can have something to do with fruition about recognition, so coming out into the light, your image, your individuality, pioneering efforts, daring goals, anything that has to do with Aries. We end off the month, September 27th, with a beautiful aspect with the Sun and Mars. So this is great for confidence and enthusiasm. Do remember that even though it can bring positive use of assertiveness and great for attracting or expressing positive masculine traits or energies, we're getting super close to Venus retrograde now. Okay, so just be really careful with the decisions you make and don't let your enthusiasm make you take on something too soon. All right, this is like this process of following retrogrades is like watching the ripening of fruit. It makes me think I have a grapevine, and you feel the grapes, right? And they're edible. You get to where they're edible, and you might be excited to eat them. But if you wait like 1 or 2 more sunny days, that grape is going to be bursting with so much extra sweetness and juiciness. That is what I want you to hold with you for this energy of the retrogrades. And you'll hear me mentioning this a lot because I really want to get it imprinted into you to associate the retrogrades with this. If you're excited to bring something out, but things aren't quite working out and you're not completely sure, maybe it's better to work on it in the backdrop until December. Mid-December, the end of December is going to be an amazing time in the cosmos. So many wonderful things going on and beautiful energy around bringing things out into the world. So just kind of tune in and make sure that the things that you were thinking about doing are really ready to be plucked off of the vine. So if you are interested in learning astrology, I would love to see you in my astrology apprenticeship program. I don't know for how long, but I will be off sabbatical. I have been on a long sabbatical of not taking individual clients for live readings, but I have some openings now. So if you've been wanting to work with me, then you have your chance. You can go to anniehelpsyou.com. You can sign up for my free email newsletter there, get your monthly write-ups, get all kinds of other goodies. And you can see more about working with me in various capacities on my website. If you'd like a written horoscope from me, then go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. And you'll also see my lifestyle blogs there. If you're a traveler, go to Astrology Kissed Travel Bliss. That is where I write my monthly astrology travel reports. So astrology reports just for the traveler, extra things that we might not talk about in the general report or the sign reports. And definitely check out my husband's website, IamHelios.com. My husband, B.R. Newman, is an amazing phenom of creativity. He's amazing with tarot. He teaches tarot. If you've wanted to learn tarot, definitely check out his tarot course. And he puts together these vibrational masterpieces to help you attune to the stars. and to bring the positive aspects out of expression and to work with the challenging ones. So check out his database of audio assistants at iamhelios.com. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.